Another day, another update on my 2022 Subaru BRZ. I've logged just over 3,900 miles now from daily driving for a couple of months, as well as 4 track days. As I've mentioned before, I really enjoy tracking this car in stock form with just some tires and brake pads and fluid. And one of the reasons I bought this car is because I wanted to compete in the NorCal 8.6 Drive Challenge Time Attack series. I figured it's a great way to network with other GR86 and BRZ owners, really improve my driving skills with this front engine rear-wheel drive platform, and just push myself to the limit, see how far I can go in the Time Attack series. So at the first event of the season back in February at Thunderhill 5 Mile, I actually placed first in the stock class. Now, what that basically means is I had to run stock tires or the sponsored tire, the GT Radial Champiro SX2, which I happen to have on the car right now, but otherwise leave the car stock. No power mods, no bolt-ons, no suspension work aside from minor camber mods. And although my driving that day certainly wasn't the best, considering it was my first time at Thunderhill 5 Mile, I was still able to easily take home first place. So that got me thinking. Prior to that event, I actually bought a set of coilovers, specifically the RCE Tarmac 2s, for the previous generation chassis, which happens to bolt right on, as well as some various front camber plates for more camber adjustment, and some PLM rear lower control arms for rear camber. My goal was to improve the handling and cornering capability of the car, keep the engine completely stock, and just focus on driver mod. But now, I'm at sort of a crossroads, and this is where I need you guys to chime in and help sway me in one direction or the other, because I'm literally teetering on the edge between these two options right now. Either, number one, I stay in the stock class, or number two, I could install the suspension mods that are already sitting in my garage and move up to the touring class. So the 3 reasons I'm even considering staying in the stock class: number one, I already won the first event of the series. If I were to continue winning the stock class, I would rapidly earn points and actually be able to redeem them for new tires, for new Champiro SX2s. Pretty nice way to fund part of my track days, which are, as you guys probably know, a very expensive hobby. And number two, and perhaps this is the more compelling reason, is that I can just keep the car stock, focus on improving my driving skills, and really get a solid feel for this car before starting to modify it for the next season. I can go around all the tracks in California, do my best to set reference lap times, and really see how the mods affect not only my lap times, but the subjective feel of the car. I have gotten more comfortable with this car over the last 4 track days. I'm still not at a point where I'm satisfied. So ideally, here are some lap time targets I have in my mind with the car in its current setup, around a 127 to 128 at Thunderhill West. I think that's a very reasonable goal for myself. 158 at Sonoma Raceway, a 206 to a 207 at Thunderhill East Bypass, and a 324 or so at Thunderhill 5 Mile. I think those targets are all well within reach of my capability as long as I keep improving as a driver. It just wouldn't feel quite as satisfying if I achieved those lap times, but with a modified car with much higher limits. And now the third and final reason I'm considering staying in stock for this season: I have a full-time job. Obviously, YouTube is not it. And I will be returning to the office pretty soon. And if I am going to be commuting, say, 25 to 30 miles each way multiple times a week, I kind of want my car to remain daily drivable and comfortable. Now, I've never driven on a set of RCE Tarmac 2 coilovers before, so I can't say for sure. The fact of the matter is, I've never driven a car on coilovers that wasn't significantly stiffer, noisier, harsher than the stock suspension. This is a minor consideration. I'm way more concerned with the first two, because ultimately I bought this car to improve my driving skills through track days, and I just want to make the best decision from a driver progression standpoint. And the other thing to consider, based on my experience at the first 8.6 Drive Challenge event, the touring class is actually a lot more competitive than the stock class in terms of driver talent. Not to take anything away from the stock class, but some of the fastest drivers in NorCal, at least fastest 8.6 BRZ drivers, are currently running the touring class. And if I did really want to test my driving skill against the best, it actually would make sense to move up to touring and modify my car for that class. With the parts I was already planning to install, the coilovers, the front and rear camber mods, as well as a set of 18-inch wheels, with the Champero SX2 RS tires, that would put me right at the 6-point limit for the touring class. So my car would be maxed out, technically speaking, for the category. There can be no excuses made around, oh, my car wasn't set up properly, that's why it didn't win. It would purely come down to driver skill. So that's probably the biggest reason in favor of moving to touring, but that's really just one reason against those 3 reasons why I should stay in stock. So I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments whether you think it's better for me to stay in stock or move up to touring. I just want to make sure that I'm prioritizing my own growth as a driver. Speaking of track days, one of the next events I'll be going to is at Sonoma Raceway on April 9th. Lightspeed will be hosting a back-to-back track day that weekend on the 9th and 10th. I ran with them for the first time at Sonoma back in February. They put on a fantastic track day. In fact, one of the organizers, Johnny, happens to be my next door neighbor. And so I'm super happy to be running with them again very soon. If any of you guys are interested in attending either day or even both days, click the link in the video description for the sign-up page and use the discount code Zygrene. Johnny and the owner, Sean, were nice enough to hook up you guys with that perk. And I'm sure you all agree that gas prices are absolutely insane right now and are only going to get more insane. So every little bit of savings counts. And one of the things I'm looking forward to testing at Sonoma is my new color fittings oil cooler that I've installed on my BRZ. I've partnered with Turn 9 and Color Fittings. It's a very, very high quality kit with clearly written installation instructions. It took 2 of us around 2 to 3 hours to install the whole thing, including bumper removal, draining the coolant, installing the oil cooler, the sandwich plate, the fittings, the hoses, everything. Straightforward to do, and there have been a number of people who have actually posted DIY videos on exactly how to do it. Now the kit that's on my car is technically a pre-production version. Myself and some beta testers have provided feedback to the folks at Turn 9 to make little adjustments here and there to the kit to make it a little easier to install, but even the pre-production version installed without a problem. And thus far, just driving around on the freeway where I'm getting a good amount of airflow through that front bumper, my oil temps have already dropped around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. They hover now around 170 to 180 degrees. But the true test will happen on the track. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And when the time comes, I will try to hook you guys up with a discount code. But until then, let me know what you guys think about my dilemma. Should I stay in stock class or go ahead and move up to touring? Also, let me know what content you guys want to see with the BRZ. I know I've been mostly putting out track content for the past few weeks. But if there's anything else that you guys want to see, please let me know. I'll try to make it happen. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you in the next one.